What's up, dudes and dudettes of the internet? My name's Scyushi, and we are back again some more Trove. And today we're going to be asking a very serious question, which I'm going to analyze and talk about. It's going to be a ranty video today. So, test server is available right now for PC, and with it comes the new biome, as well as new Uber difficulties. We can go up to U14 in any prime world, which is pretty crazy. I'm not that Skyland, but whatever. And U15 is actually available exclusively in the new area, where it has 3 random biomes per day that will generate randomly. On top of that, these biomes in the higher difficulties will also end up having new 5-star dungeons, which is pretty cool because I like the idea that 5-star dungeons can now spawn in pretty much every biome in the game. Granted, they're not thematically set to whatever the biomes are. Hopefully that changes in time, because as of right now on the test server, there's only 1 dungeon and it's just kind of shared across all of the biomes, which kind of defeats the whole purpose of having 5-star dungeons in each of the biomes anyways. If they're not thematically different, we may as well just do this big Colosseum dungeon in a new, in the geode surface. But at least thematically, we can get out of the dungeon and still see all of the different biomes. Now, with that new difficulty tier comes the question of, is Crystal 5 gear enough? And furthermore, is there going to end up being a new tier of gear? Yes, there's a new tier of gear. Crystal 5 gear, is it enough? Kind of. Like, I can still handle U15, but not very well. And obviously that's because of the new rarity of gear. Now, there's all sorts of other things that we'll end up exploring in other videos. Don't even get me started on the Rune Crafter's bench. But essentially, there's going to end up being all sorts of new resources found exclusively in the new biome and new region and so on and so forth. So it's something to keep in mind. The thing is that I also noticed when I went over to the Forge that we can actually upgrade Crystal 5 gear into a new tier. So if you're wondering, does this update make Crystal 5 gear worthless? Thankfully, no. In fact, it seems like at the moment, you have to have Crystal 5 in order to get Mystic gear. It's not a gear that can drop. It's only something that can be forged up, which might be something that a lot of people don't like. Personally speaking, I actually love this idea. This is the main reason why I enjoyed Stellar gear when it first got added years and years and years ago with the Mantle of Power update, because the only way that you could get Stellar gear was you had to forge up Crystal or Shadow 5 gear. At the time that was like the strongest gear. And then we had to get all these weird Shaper stars and other weird items from the Everdark. So they're kind of treading old ground by adding a new Uber world. But at the same time, at least it's not the Everdark where it's just kind of worthless. And frankly speaking, this is kind of a dream come true for me. Like, granted, it's not perfect. There's definitely things that we'll critique about it, and I'll get into that in a moment. But I actually really like the idea of having an end game area that is basically just prime Uber worlds that can generate all the different biomes. And even though it might seem kind of lame that it only generates 3 biomes per day, I actually like that as well, because it means that the game itself is going to, in a way, randomize which biomes I'm playing for that day. And I like that variety. It's the main reason why I still play Trove today. So many times I get people asking me like, why are you still playing this game? I don't know. I'm very simple. You throw a random generated world in my face, and as far as my brain is concerned, it's a new experience every time. Even if, unfortunately, the new 5-star dungeons, there's only 1 of them. But I'm getting off topic. So let's roll it back, dial it back in to talking about the gear itself. So I'm going to read through the new gear tier in the patch notes here. Mystic gear. Gear crafting. The gear crafters have not yet figured out the secrets of Mystic gear, meaning it cannot yet be crafted directly. It also doesn't technically say that it can't drop, but I'm assuming that we can only craft into it just because that would make the most sense, unless it's a very, very, very rare drop from U15. I don't know. But the fact that they say it's not available for gear crafting yet has me worried. Devs, keep the new gear out of the gear crafting, okay? Don't ever add it there because the gear crafting already kind of sucks to try and get Crystal 4 and much less Crystal 5 in the first place. No one's dumb enough to do it because the resources are just insanely expensive. So anyways, it says that you'll have to get exotic, expensive materials found from 5-star dungeons from the Depth Delve biome. Actually, you know what? I think they're talking about this stupid new where is it? Oh no, it was a special generated ship that I saw in the U15 biome that allowed me to craft this new Delve portal. Okay, so unfortunately, yeah, it means that a lot of the resources in order to get this tier of gear are going to end up being located in a new Depths Delve portal. Here they go again, bringing us back into the stupid delves. Now, the reason why this is kind of such a convoluted mess is because in order to craft the delve portal, you gotta get resources out of the new Uber difficulties anyways. So you're grinding resources to craft a portal that you can only be in for a limited amount of time before it just scales too high and then you have to leave, so that you can get a few materials to craft your gear up to Mystic. Like, it boggles my mind why this is the progression system, especially, sorry, I bumped my mic, especially when this new long shade portal should be at the forefront rather than the stupid delves. Now, maybe the new delve portal is really cool. I haven't seen it yet, so I can't comment on that yet. But it'll say that you can forge Crystal 5 gear into Mystic 1. I want to be very clear because it says Mystic 1. Now, obviously, I don't have Mystic gear, so I don't know if you can forge Mystic gear to 5-star and then you can forge it into Mystic 2, or if maxed out Mystic 1 is all that we have for now. The fact that they're calling it Mystic 1 to me tells me it's an inevitability that we'll get up to Mystic 5. Which means we could probably see upwards of U20, U25, whatever, you know, like the fact remains that we didn't necessarily get a new biome type with this portal. We got a new delve, nobody asked for, but the fact that it's just kind of a remix of existing biomes it's kind of cheap, right? Like, I'm okay with it, but you can see that they're being very cost effective with all of it, right? So they also mention Trovian's best gear crafters are diligently working along with Mistenta Cull to unlock its secrets, which again refers to gear crafting, potentially unlocking this as a craftable item down the line. It might even be that it's going to be craftable day one when it comes to live server. And this is just their weird role play way of saying it's not on the test server yet, because they expect players to spend hours and hours and hours to grind the new resources so that they can end up, well, ultimately crafting up the gear. Now, I'm going to regularly swap my Trove streams into us being on the test server, of course, and we'll see if we can get our gear up to Mystic level. But generally speaking, I'm not in a mega rush because it's on the test server, which means that it's not going to be something that'll progress over to the live server. So it's kind of a big waste of time, but at least it gives me something to do and will be something entertaining for you guys to watch, even if the new Uber difficulty is very, very laggy right now. So with all of that said, I'm okay with Mystic gear being in the game. I do think that it's a better of two evils to give us a new tier of gear that we forge up to, rather than just giving us Crystal 5 rings or a Crystal permanent torch, unless we could have forged up into a Crystal 5 ring or a new permanent torch. Like, for me, the mystique of our gear being renamed to a higher tier, being called Mystic, you know, that's cool, right? To me, it's cool that we're actually getting a new tier, even if it's just in name alone, you know, because it's essentially just going to end up being Crystal 5 gear, just going to end up having even higher stats. But anyways, you can sound off in the comments what you guys think about all of this stuff. Again, I'm kind of on the fence about the whole situation. At the same time, I'm a freak, and the fact that I get something to do in this game and something to work towards, even if it's very difficult, I'm perfectly fine with. And we've kind of already got the hard part out of the way, which was getting Crystal 5 gear to begin with. The Mystic gear is just a matter of time, because it seems like it's just up to getting enough resources to craft up into Mystic gear rather than it being random chance of actually getting it as a drop. I mean, granted, it's going to be random chance of getting the Mystic, like the items to upgrade to Mystic gear, but generally speaking, they don't seem to be super expensive based on their description. Like there's a Depth Core, which I've gotten a couple of these already. There's Souls of the Depths, which is from the Depths Delve biome. And then there's this new resource, which is exclusive to U15. And that's just an ore. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of cool, actually. These could also be, let me actually see if they're tradable in any way, shape, or form. So these keys aren't, but I wanted to see, yep, okay. All these new resources are tradable, which means that at the very least, unless this is a mistake that the devs made, fingers crossed that this is on purpose, it means that us end gamers can actually help each other out, and it gives us a new resource to work towards with our flux. It's just unfortunate that we had all of the flux duping and everything is just absolutely destroyed on the in-game economy right now. So don't know if that's the best solution. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for me. If you would kindly smash like and sub for more, because obviously we've got a lot more to cover with this new update. But if you want to check out some of my other videos, YouTube recommends this one, or you can check out my most recent upload right here. What do you guys think about the update? Sound off in the comments. Good, bad. I'll probably end up putting up a poll asking just that.